I'm Tony Ruiz of Gold Derby, here with Takehiro Hira, the star of Shōgun, Emmy nominated for supporting actor in a drama series. And I read something, and I think I agree with this. It's so easy to see Ishido as a villain. I find him to be a very lonely person. Would that be a kind of a fair assessment of the man?
Yes, thank you for recognizing that. I guess what made him a lonely person is that it has a lot to do with his upbringing. In 1600s of Japan, in the feudal society of Japan, I guess you kind of have to be born into a ruling class in order to become a samurai or someone of political power. But Ishido was born at the other end of the spectrum. He was born as a son of peasants. And so I guess you can imagine he had to break through a lot of barriers and make a lot of sacrifice to be where he is right now. And I guess along the way, there was a lot of resentment, indignation about society, anger, maybe a lot of injustice has been done to him. So, but those like strong emotions were in the core of his personality, I believe. But I guess the only person he can share those emotions with was Taiko, his former boss, who passed away in episode 1 in his flashback. So, there was nobody around who he can talk to, given that the background. So I guess that made him really lonely. And of course, and he's at the top of the ladder in the Osaka castle. So that makes him a lonely person too.
Yeah, there are moments where I feel like he's actually trying too hard to prove that he belongs there.
Yes, but I guess all his life he's been trying to belong there, trying to win the extremely rigged game for him, rigged against him. So that he wants to prove that he can win that.
Yeah, and so this, it's so interesting, to get an Emmy nomination. It doesn't always necessarily happen for the person who's the villain. Why do you think, this character has kind of resonated in the way that it has?
I have no idea. I was always worried, conscious of the fact that this show was the Japanese in Japanese language, and whatever we did, whatever I did on the screen in front of the camera would convey to the Western audience. And I was always worried if I was doing too much or too little, am I speaking too fast? But at the end of the day, you kind of have to trust your, instinct and go naturally, So, and I didn't do anything different from the other shows that I did in Japanese or in English, but I don't know. I tried, and then plus, and in the movements wise, a lot of my scenes took place in a ceremonial hall where, I sat with 4 other lords, and in a kimono, and we just sat there and talked politics. So there wasn't much freedom for me to do stuff. So I was really careful with emotions and dialogue, where to look, just a look or, my facial expressions was only thing that I could do, a lot of times.
Well, you had that. I mean, you've submitted the Crimson Sky episode.
Yes.
And so I feel like that gives us a chance to see a few different sides to Ishido because
Mhm.
he's going toe to toe with Mariko. It's not an abstract. It's not something far
Right.
away. Was that one of the reasons why you picked that episode?
Yes, I thought it was a really interesting scene where Ishido sort of projected himself to be a really powerful politician of Osaka Castle, and in the room full of lords, male lords, and then Mariko walks in, as an envoy of Toranaga. And I'm projecting this big image, but inside, I guess I'm a little bit afraid, lonely, as you said. I don't want to show my weakness in front of all these lords, and especially in front of Ochiba. But Mariko comes in, small person, not so much of power of influence, but she's so determined and she's so focused to achieve her mission, a secret mission. So I guess there's a contrast between my image and what I was feeling inside, and I tried to hide it. I was struggling on the verge of losing myself, and getting angry and then losing myself in front of all these lords.
It's funny, in all the actors I've talked to, that is a common thread of, the balance of what's being projected exterior and what's on the inside. It seems that that's a common thread between all of them.
Yeah, I think the actors would love that.
I'm curious, much has been talked about, and I talked with Anna about it, and Hiro as well, about kind of the Shakespearean style of the dialogue here. And I know you've had a lot of experience doing Shakespeare. Did that kind of background help in doing this to particular style?
I guess it did. Oh, well, I never really thought about that as in Shakespeare, but a lot of traditional Japanese samurai dramas kind of takes the form of the Shakespeare, like the classics. But I try not to fall into the trap of classics. I try to be real and natural as much as possible. Although you kind of have to with a kimono, with the hair and all that, the decorations, you have to sort of get into the world of samurai, and so you're not speaking like this. You're speaking a little bit like a little bit lower tone. But I didn't want to fall into the trap of stylized acting too much. So yeah, I was watching out for that. Yes.
Well, I think fans of this show know that you went right from doing this and playing the enemy, the antagonist of Lady Mariko, to being Anasawai's father on Monarch. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was literally like one day and then the next day. Yeah, it was that fast.
Yeah, it was really fast. And then I think Anna took a day off because she couldn't take it. She got a I don't know, fever or something after the Shōgun. But it was a matter of days, or hours, like 24 or 48 hours after shooting the Shōgun. We went right into shooting Monarch.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that sense of whiplash like, to cross from the completely different periods, completely different genres, completely different styles? Is that a fun challenge, or is that just daunting?
Well, it was fun challenge because it was with Anna. I knew her so well. Oops, sorry. So I worked with her 3 other projects now. And so we have developed like a form of trust and confidence. So, on the day we can do this. And, we tell each other we can do this, and then we put it off, I guess.
So, with the show coming back for a second season, when I spoke to Rachel and Justin, the creators of the show, they're just in the beginning of the writing process. First of all, what was kind of your reaction, the fact that this was going to become a multi-season kind of arc?
Well, I was surprised. I thought it had a great ending in season 1, but the part of me was wanting more as an audience. And so it was a pleasant surprise. But, the season 1 was based on the book, but now season 2 is going to be new creation. It's the total freedom from now on. So, it could go back in time or forward in time. We don't know, but
well, I think it also helps that these are characters that are based on real people. How in depth did you go into research about the real life counterpart of Ishido?
Well, like you said, Ishido loosely follows the actual historical figure in Japanese history, and I actually played lots of other characters around Ishido in Japan. So I was familiar with the other characters, of course, in Ishido. I mean, Mitsunari Ishida, that's the actual figure. But I didn't do too much research. I didn't do too much in terms of research, but I looked into his upbringing, and I guess it had a lot to do with his character and how he plays in his motivations behind his actions. So he was born as a son of peasants, where Toranaga and other lords were born into the ruling class. So there was a lot of clash there.
Now with a future season, are you going to rely on the scripts as kind of your roadmap, or are you actually does knowing that there's more seasons make you want to look into the character further?
Well, I guess I have to be true, or I have to follow, or at least try to follow the history. So I can be, I don't know if I have the freedom to go like completely off, but yeah, within the framework of the actual history, I would like to be creative, or put on my 2 cents there.
Well, I feel like this was a 10-month shoot, and it was so involved and so detailed, and you got to live in this world for so long. Does that kind of make you feel like you want to spend more time in it? Was this an easy project to move on from?
No, it wasn't. I wanted to do more, and I think there were more faces, I guess, of Ishido that I wanted to show. And to be honest with you, I didn't have too many scenes. I mean, I had like 2 or 3 scenes in each episode. And all these scenes, I was just talking politics and expressing how much I hate Toranaga. But there were a lot more than that to Ishido. So, in season 2, hopefully, we get to see more in the underneath layer of him.
Well, you describe it as only a few scenes, but clearly they made an impact because you have an Emmy nomination. Tak, congratulations. Best of luck. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys. And stay tuned for interviews with more Emmy nominees in the coming weeks. Takehiro Hira, it's very great pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.